exactly are makerspaces being used in special education classrooms? What exactly are the tools that they are using? So first off, matching tasks to cognitive and physical skills. So you want to make sure that you are using your space as a teacher in a way that will help utilize both the cognitive and physical skills of your students. So for example, you want to have certain sections split off, a section possibly with a computer for those who are more technology-based learners, and maybe a section with like a beanbag and a book so that children who are more physical and like to move around can read their book but actually feel that feeling that beanbag chair provides. Another example of what is being used in the classroom when it comes to maker spaces is there is a wide variety of experiences that are being used. For example, a child with fine motor issues will not feel comfortable wanting to work with heavy machinery, such as whether it be obviously like the fake toy like power drills or stuff like hands-on they might have issues with. So you might want to pair them with a student who is doing a project. That way they can learn how to collaborate with that student, whether it be technology based or just simply like an art project. Another thing is skill testing. Skill testing is very important when you're sectioning off spaces in your classroom and you're giving your students, even if they're like little or old, if you're giving students the option to be independent and work in these spaces, they should know how to work. They should know how to actually use the tools that are being provided to them. So for me, I found it after doing some research, excuse me, that if you ask your students to demonstrate how to use a specific tool before they go and use it, that is a great way to make sure that you know that they'll be okay to use it. So for another child who wants to use an iPad, there goes tying in that technology again into this lesson. You know, technology keeps popping up. If you want your student to go and use the iPad, you should make sure that they know how to do it. So we briefly discussed how makerspaces are being used in the classroom. Now let's discuss the impact of makerspaces with our young learners. So first off, we are going to see that makerspaces are looked at as a method for engaging learners in creative and higher thinking. These students are now becoming independent and get to choose where they get to work, which allows them to think on a different level than what they're used to. Another thing is tinkering and making. So tinkering is basically another way children can learn, but they learn by doing. So tinkering and making are both powerful ways for them to learn, which leads to better thinking and eventually helps them develop questions of their own while they're on their own and learning. And lastly, another way that these children are impacted through maker spaces is the real world experiences that they are surrounded by, allowing them to see beyond their own context and applying what they have learned into real life applications is really a great way for these students to learn. And for the sample artifact, I put together a sheet with a picture of a work draw station. These work draws basically is an activity for students in their own separate area, and on the back of this is a stimulus response data report. So the teacher then does this checklist while the students are working to see their progression, and then at the end of the week they put together an analysis to see their students' progress. So this is a really cool way for students to get tested while enjoying an activity.